How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the 1IQ Sports Talk channel. Brendon and Sterling coming at you for week number 9 game predictions. Man, it's already week number 9. Where's the football season going?
Yep. We are past the halfway point. If there's a hump day in the NFL, like we've passed it. Like it's all to, speeding towards the end now.
Yep. Neither of us are happy. Listen to our podcast this week when it comes out if you want to hear all of those juicy details. But of course, the first game that we get to talk about is my Chicago Bears taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, where this is going to be an interesting game because the Bears travel to Cincinnati, where they are minus 2.5 point favorites.
Yeah, I mean the Bengals had a big win against the Steelers and then a big letdown against the Jets and handed the Jets their first win of the season last week. So Bengals are just all over the place right now without Joe Burrow. It's hard to tell what's happening. Joe Flacco one week, Jake Browning the next. We don't know who's starting this week yet, I don't think. Um, and the Bears, that they've been doing Bears things, unfortunately, the last couple of weeks. They won one. Last week was a tough one. I think this week, though, the matchup is going to be Jamar Chase against that Bears secondary. And the Bears secondary has been doing better. I know they're dealing with some injuries right now, but I think they'll find a way to hopefully figure out that you got to double cover Jamar Chase. And if you can do that, you beat the Bengals. And I think the Bears will beat the Bengals.
Yeah, so in this game, I was just looking to see if there was any update on the Joe Flacco situation. He is going to be starting this game, even with a right shoulder injury, which is his throwing shoulder. So he's going to be giving it a shot. So it's one of those things for the Bears where if it was Jake Browning, I'm less worried about Jamar Chase. But with Joe Flacco, he's just going to throw it to Jamar Chase at any given opportunity. And if the Bears can't get pressure on Joe Flacco, then that makes it 10 times worse. And so obviously Austin Booker is coming back for the Bears. So I've said it before, I hate putting pressure on a 5th round pick to be the savior of your edge rushing room, but I am because that's literally all we have at this moment. But if they get pressure on Joe Flacco and they can beat him up, then they can do some good things. Tyreek Stevenson is going to be back, so he's going to be the main guy on Jamar Chase, which is terrifying. Bears signed CJ Gardner Johnson to be our nickel corner until Kyler Gordon gets back, so expect some penalties. You
Yep.
know, I'm going to be thrilled with that, to say the least. But yeah, this is going to be a tough game for me, but it's one that I don't know if I can pick the Bears. I don't know if I can trust them because with how last week went, where it was you're going up against a Ravens team who has a really, really bad defense, who has
Mhm.
Tyler Huntley in at quarterback, and you just can't get it done. And so for myself, I'm picking the Bengals to win this because I'm at the point now with the Bears this season where I trust the coaching staff. There's too many injuries on the defensive side of the ball. The offense hasn't fully gotten it going yet, where I'm going, you need to prove to me that you can win these games. And right now, I just don't think they can. And so
Yeah.
I think the Bengals are going to win this and obviously cover that spread. Next game up here on our list is the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Detroit Lions, where the Lions are 9.5 point favorites.
Yeah, I mean, uh, Vikings are probably going to wheel Carson Wentz out there in an iron lung to be the quarterback. They killed that guy. So I assume it's JJ McCarthy,
I don't even
and
know.
we'll get to see what he can do, I guess. I don't know, man. Like the Detroit Lions right now, they're chasing the Green Bay Packers and they have to keep pace. So the Lions are going to come out hard. They're going to play tough at home. I don't see any reason that the Vikings are going to pull this one out. They'll probably keep it close because this Vikings defense is good and they will play very tough against this Lions team, but the Lions are going to win this. That's a hefty spread though for a divisional game. I think the Vikings cover that spread.
Yeah, I'm gonna instantly come out here and say I'm picking the Lions to win this game. They have looked spectacular these last couple of weeks, and while the Vikings haven't. And JJ McCarthy coming back, he gets to face Aiden Hutchinson after signing his long term deal. Pardon me, with the Lions, and I think he's gonna struggle, man. I think this Vikings offense is going to have a really bad time. And yeah, so I think it's going to be the Lions walking out there basically saying, "Listen, JJ, you're not gonna worry us here. We're about to come out here, slap you around a little bit, keep you in fourth place in that division somehow, and we're gonna walk away with a nice, easy win." I think the Lions win this game, and I think they cover that spread. Speaking of the team that the Lions are chasing, the Green Bay Packers are at home taking on the Carolina Panthers, where the Packers are minus 13 and a half point favorites.
Yeah, the Packers get a bye week this week, and are gifted a number in the win column. Packers win this game, they cover that spread.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if Bryce Young is on the injury report because I don't really think it matters all that much. But yeah, I look at this and I simply just sit back and say the Packers, while I don't think they're a great 5-1-1 team, but they're doing everything that they need to do to win right now, which is irritating for me as a Bears fan, just seeing this team do what they need to do. And it's not been perfect for them yet this season. But this is the Panthers. This is a team that shockingly has 4 wins this season, but also has 4 losses. And I think they're going to get their fifth. And I think the Packers are going to slap the shit out of whoever is playing quarterback for that team. And I think they cover that 13 and a half point spread.
Mm-hmm.
Next game up here on our lexicon, we have the Los Angeles Chargers going to Tennessee, take on the Titans, where the Chargers are 9.5 point favorites.
Yeah, this is the NFL's cheapest tickets of the week this week at $14 a ticket to go to see the Tennessee Titans get beat up by the LA Chargers. So, damn, that
Yep.
is dirt cheap.
Yep.
We say it every week. Titans are ass,
They
and I have
ass.
no reason to believe that's going to change. Chargers win this one, and what was the spread?
It is 9.5 points.
Yeah, Chargers cover that spread.
Yeah. Chargers are playing objectively good ball. They're starting to get a little bit more healthier. Their running game, even down their two top running backs, has been really, really good. The fact that you can go from Najee Harris blowing up essentially his face and then his knee, and Justin Herbert just jumping over top of them, and then Amari and Hampton getting banged up as well. And then to just get Vilda in there, who just looks spectacular. You're just watching this going like everything is going right. Lad McConkey is starting to get going a lot more in this Chargers offense. You're basically having Justin Herbert have a more healthier offensive line now. We all know that at the deadline, it wouldn't shock us to see them trade for a guard, just because to really solidify that line. But the Titans, they play football. And with that polite way of stating things, yeah, I'm choosing the Chargers to win this game and cover that spread.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta Falcons going up to New England to take on the Patriots, where the Pats are minus 5.5 point favorites.
Patriots are rolling, man. I mean, Drake May is being considered as a front runner for a potential MVP candidate this year. I don't know.
Yep.
Like, Patriots are good. They brought in a defensive-minded coach that got the defense right and just put faith into Drake May and what he can do, and he is showing he's got that it factor. Falcons are just so back and forth one week to the next. It's you don't know what this team is. They don't know what they are. They could come out and put up 45, or they could come out and put up 3. We don't know, but I don't think it matters against this Patriots team at Gillette Stadium. The Patriots win this game and they cover that spread.
Yeah, the saving grace for Falcons fans is they're going to have Michael Penix back and they're going to have Drake London back this week. So that does make things a little bit easier per se, but Yeah, like you put it best there. It's we don't know what this Falcons team is, and with that being stated, we know what this Patriots team is. It's a good defensive team that has their offense firing on all cylinders right now. And when you have those two things mixing, that typically makes for a pretty damn good team. And Patriots are rolling, man. They funny enough, they're one of the best teams in the AFC when we thought they would be just barely fighting for a playoff spot. And yeah, I'm picking the Patriots to win this game, but I am also picking them to cover that 5.5 point spread. But I also wouldn't be shocked if the Atlanta Falcons just somehow pull it out of the hat and win this game in a shocker where everyone's just like, what are you? Make a decision. Are you good or are you bad? Stop playing with your fan base's emotions. Next game up here on our list is the 49ers going to MetLife Stadium to take on the Giants, where San Francisco is -2.5 point favorites. I know you and I definitely had some comments this week of things we think the 49ers should do.
Yeah. Yeah, this has got to be a scary week for them. They got so many guys on IR already, so many guys just waiting to come back from injury, and you're going into the ACL killer of MetLife Stadium. And if you're not worried about Christian McCaffrey, then you're crazy because he handles the ball more than anybody on this team. So he's going to be out there. He's going to be making cuts on that turf that routinely takes somebody almost every week. And so there is very real concern that that could happen again. Giants, they're going through it. I don't know what the Giants did in a past life, but their fans are just doomed to suffer right now, losing player after player. You know, Neighbors goes down, so Cam Scatabo comes up and is like, I can be a star and entertaining. There goes Cam Scatabo. So it's really Jackson Dart now. And I don't know, man. Giants just don't have it. Come next year, with both of those other guys healthy and this squad all together, the Giants could be a force to be reckoned with in the NFC. But I think the 49ers go into MetLife. Kyle Shanahan will find a way to win. He always does. He is a great coach that way. Niners win. Niners cover that spread.
Yeah, I think if you're the 49ers, you bubble wrap Christian McCaffrey and you don't even actually let him touch the field because you need him the rest of the year. Because if you lose McCaffrey, that I'm not going to say your season's done with the 49ers, but it's one of those things where it's you're so banged up, what's the point? And the Giants, they're essentially this year just playing spoilers for the rest of the year. They have nothing else that they need to do. We all know they're not making the playoffs. Even with a 2-6 record, is it still technically possible you can make a playoffs at this point? Yep, it 100% is. But it's one of those things where just watching the way the season has gone for them, you just sit back and say, just play spoiler. That's all you need to do. Just watch Jackson Dart evolve, and hopefully he gets better and better. But yeah, I'm choosing the 49ers to win this game. I think even going into the cursed stadium of injuries, I think they'll come out relatively unscathed. I know by me saying that the commentators curse, everyone is going to end up breaking a knee in this game, but I am picking the 49ers to win and cover that spread. Next up, we have the 7-1 Indianapolis Colts going in to take on the 4-3 Pittsburgh Steelers, where Indianapolis is -3.5 point favorites.
Yeah, this is one of the worst defenses in the league going up against what is the most efficient offense at this point in the season this century. Not this season,
Yep.
this century. Since the year 2000, the Colts are the most efficient offense at scoring the ball. Man, Colts win this game. Colts cover that spread. This is one where I hope I'm wrong. I've been pulling for the Steelers each week and they keep losing, so maybe choosing the other team, maybe they get a win. But no reason to bet against the Colts right now.
Yeah, this is one of those Colts team with the first 4 weeks. You and I were sitting back going like, okay, like we're just waiting for the pin to drop and it kind of to all come crumbling down, and well, it hasn't. And the Colts are one of the best teams in the NFL right now. Jonathan Taylor seriously looks like the MVP of the NFL right now. Pittsburgh doesn't have it. Their defense is the most expensive in the NFL, and they can't stop anything. And unfortunately for them, when your defense isn't that great, it forces TJ Watt to not be as good because he can't just sit back and rush the passer. The annoying thing for Steelers fans is they actually have an offense that, if their defense was what it has been these last 5 years, the Steelers might be undefeated.
Yep.
And with all that being stated, I don't think Old Man Rodgers is going to be capable enough of keeping this Steelers team, with him and Arthur Smith calling plays, up against the Colts. I think Colts win, and I think they cover that spread. Next up here on our list is the Denver Broncos going to Texas to take on the Texans, where Houston is minus 2.5 point favorites.
Yeah, this was one of the harder games to pick this week because while the Broncos have been good, the Texans have started improving. You know, they've been playing better week in, week out. The offensive line seems to be getting some sense of how to play football. And so they're able to protect CJ Stroud for just that little bit longer, that extra half second than he needs to get the ball out to Nico Collins or one of the other various targets he's got. Ultimately, I'm going with the Broncos here just because they've been that little bit better in the clutch. The Texans are better if they can get out to an early big lead, then this defense will win them the game. But the Broncos have been really good at staying in games, keeping it close, and then closing it out at the end. And so I think the Broncos will be able to do that against the Texans.
Yeah, this is just one of those games where I look back and go, this is a candidate for game of the week, but unfortunately there's another game that's happening a little bit later that we'll talk about that is definitely going to be dwarfing this one. But you have two teams that have, okay offenses. I think that's safe to say for both of these two teams, but two elite defenses. And I look at both sides and go, okay, well, what does each quarterback have in front of them? CJ Stroud has the weapons, but Bo Nix has the offensive line. And as you and I both know, if you don't have an offensive line, it makes things really, really, really difficult to handle. And for me, that's what's ultimately going to be the difference in this game. I think Bo Nix is just going to have that little bit extra in keeping him upright. So I think the Broncos are going to win and cover that spread. And our next game up on the list, where we have the Jacksonville Jaguars going to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders, where the Jags are minus 2.5 point favorites.
Yeah, that's a pretty small spread for going up against the Raiders because the Raiders have not been good. And they're
No, they
likely going to
haven't.
get worse over the next few days as we expect them to trade away at least one, if not more, players.
Yep.
Um, Jags are fighting for this division right now. They're just fighting to stay alive enough and hoping that the Colts have a fall off so that they can take over. They have to keep pace. So this is a must win for the Jags at this
Mm-hmm.
point. And I think they go in to Vegas and they get that win pretty easily. 2.5 point spread is going to be nothing against this Raiders team. Unless Ashton Genty can score 3 touchdowns himself, the Raiders can't do anything right now.
Yeah.
They are getting Brock Bowers back, so maybe that will be a bit of an injection, a bit of depth to that offense so they can get things moving. But I still don't have a lot of faith in this Raiders team. I think the Jags win this one, and I think they cover a 2.5 point spread.
Yeah, I look at this game and I am picking the Jags to win this and cover this spread, but I also look at it and go, we have Trevor Lawrence, he's just not good, man. He's just not good. I think it's fine to say that at this point. I just don't think he's the guy for the future for this team. Um, Hunter is out in this game, so he's not going to be playing. That's basically Lawrence's best weapon at this point, because for whatever reason, Trevor Lawrence is refusing to throw good balls to Brian Thomas Jr. The only time he actually throws him a ball is when he's trying to get him killed, it seems like. But if Max Crosby can go off and destroy Trevor Lawrence and his confidence, I could very easily see the Raiders potentially doing something if they can get this run game and the passes to Brock Bowers. Again, Brock Bowers, first time that he's been healthy essentially all season long. And he's going to want to remind people that, hey, I'm that dude. You guys just been missing me. And so this could be a closer game than I think a lot of people expect. It's going to go one of two ways. It's going to be the Raiders keep it incredibly close and they lose on like a last second field goal type situation, or they don't score a point. That's kind of where the Raiders are at this point, where they keep it a somewhat close game, or they just get demolished and there's no in between. But like I said, I'm picking the Jags to win this game and to cover that spread. The New Orleans Saints go into LA to give the Rams a little bit of a bye week, where the Rams are minus 14.5 point favorites.
Wow, that is a hefty, hefty spread. Um, I think the Rams still cover it. I don't know if they've got Puka Nacua back yet, but really it hasn't mattered. Even with him gone, this Rams team has still been good, which, has to make them one of the favorites to be able to get to the Super Bowl from the NFC side of things. Once Nacua is back, you got Matt Stafford, Kyron Williams, Devontae Adams. Everybody's been playing very well, and this defense is locked in. They're going to destroy the Saints, really. Like, the Rams are going to win this game. We don't often take double-digit spreads, but I'm going to say the Rams cover this spread.
Yeah, the fact that the app that we use to actually make our picks and to record our picks, it actually shows you the percentage of who is picking. It's 99-1. Oftentimes we'll see favorites in games be, 95, 96. That's typically where it gets to. It's very rare that we see anything above that. I can't remember the last time I saw a 99-1% pick rate, because again, there are people that are out there that are just like, man, I'm just gonna pick the Saints just because like, why not? And no one's doing it. Literally no one is doing it, and
I,
there's great
I
reason
feel
for
like
it.
the only ones picking it, I feel like, are the ones who are just trying to get a win in their leagues and catch up.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I have nothing left to lose, so why not go for some, risky picks. But yeah, the Rams are a really good team, and the Saints are currently the worst record in the NFL. So, enough said. Rams win, Rams cover. Now for our game of the week. That's annoyingly not on Sunday Night Football, but I actually think is probably a good thing, because then we don't have Collinsworth deep throating a certain Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs going into Buffalo to take on the Bills, where the Chiefs are minus 1.5 point favorites.
Yeah, I mean, this is the game where it usually seems like the Bills manage to get the win in the regular season, and then they drop it come playoffs time. But the Chiefs, in the last few weeks, since getting Xavier Worthy back and then Rashi Rice back, all of a sudden it's opened up this offense so Travis Kelce can be effective again. And the Chiefs are just rolling on all cylinders. They demolished the Raiders last week, which easy win, obviously, but still got to be great for the confidence boost to be able to take out a division rival. What, 31-0? They beat them or something?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Chiefs ended up beating the Commanders
Oh, it was
28-7.
Commanders on Monday night. Right,
Yeah.
right, right. Either way, they destroyed the Commanders too. It wasn't even a close game at that point.
No, it wasn't.
Um, Honestly, the Bills are still missing a piece. They need a big name wide receiver. They need a big target for Josh Allen, and they don't quite have it. I think the Chiefs win this game. I think they cover the spread, and hopefully it lights that fire under Bill's front office to go out there Monday, Tuesday, and make a trade. Get a Jalen Waddle. Get a Jacoby Myers. Go try and pry away a DJ Moore from the Bears. Something. Get a true number one wide receiver for this team if you want a shot to beat the Chiefs. It's simple as that.
Yeah, it's basically, I look at this as a tale of two teams this year, of where the Buffalo Bills, their two losses have come against the Patriots and the Falcons. And in both of those games, it was like, man, this Bills team is incredibly beatable. And with the Chiefs, they started out the year looking bad. It was like, okay, finally this
Mhm.
Chiefs era is over. And I said, I constantly kept telling people, especially when we were at work, it's we need to see what this Chiefs team is when Rice comes back. Because when Rice is back, Worthy's going to be healthy. Travis Kelsey's going to have a lot less pressure. Hollywood Brown's going to have even less pressure to do things. And if Rice comes back and he's that same receiver that he was, this Chiefs team is going right back to the Super Bowl, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. And of course, they go out there, first game, dominate the Raiders. Yes, it is the Raiders, but you still have to put up 31 points and look like that team, and they did. And then you go up against the Commanders and basically do the exact same thing. And it's just like, guys, stop fighting it. The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl. Stop fighting it. And this is going to be the real litmus test for this Kansas City Chiefs team. If they go into Buffalo and get this win, you just pick the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl at this point. Like, put the money down, make the bet. It's going to happen. I do think the Chiefs are going to go into Buffalo and win this game. I think the firepower is just going to be too much for that Bills defense to handle. And it's going to light a fire under Buffalo's ass to get Josh Allen a number one receiver. And so I think it's actually going to be beneficial for both of these teams in the long run if the Chiefs ultimately win. But if the Bills get that win, it's one of those things of going like, okay, this Chiefs team, they still got work to do, which is also scary for people that are around the league going, if the Chiefs still need work and they're still looking to be better and better, that should also be terrifying. But I am picking the Chiefs to win and to cover that spread. That is also our game of the week, if you didn't realize. And for what should not be the Sunday night football game, it is the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Washington Commanders in Washington, with Jane Daniels coming back, but the Seattle Seahawks are minus 2.5 point favorites.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough game to listen to because it's going to be so fresh off the back of that Chiefs game that every single play made, I feel like Chris Collinsworth is going to compare it to Patrick Mahomes and suck his dick some more.
Yeah.
It's going to be a painful Sunday night game to watch. I can't wait till they get rid of Chris Collinsworth off this Sunday night crew because it is bad. It is tough to watch.
I just want everyone
Um,
to be replaced on that Sunday night crew.
but honestly, Washington, they just don't quite have it this year. You know, they're very much having that sophomore quarterback slump this year. You know, they've been dealing with injuries. Debo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, both should be playing this week along with Jaden Daniels. So that does bode well for this offense to be able to move the ball better and possibly try and keep pace with Seattle. But honestly, Sam Darnold and JSN have been a lights out connection, making Jackson Smith and Jigba look like a top five receiver at this point in the league.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
I don't see any reason that's going to change. You know, honestly, if they can figure out a way to, like, you and I both would love to see the Seattle team just settle on a running back and go with it. But it's been working. Using Kenneth Walker to get down the field and then Zach Charbonnet to punch it in seems to be working. So I guess we can't fault them that. And Seattle's going to go into Washington and win this game, and they'll cover that spread. I don't think Washington has enough to be able to keep up with that, and their defense is just going to allow Seattle to pick them apart.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing with the Commanders this season is the fruits of the Commanders going on a historic run last year. Like I said this about the Commanders, where I said, if Jaden Daniels is a good quarterback, this will be a better team. But the fact that they went to the NFC Championship game with that roster that they had, it was genuinely impressive. Like, it was genuinely one of those things of going like, man, like, what the hell? Like, this just shouldn't be happening. And going into year two of the Jaden Daniels experiment, it's one of those things where you look at it and you kind of sit back and go like, man, like, the team is starting to show why it had that second overall pick just 2 years ago, where it's an improved roster from that time. Of course it has to be, but they're still a handful of players away from being a really good competitive roster. And the
Mhm.
Seahawks right now, they're just a team that is just playing consistent football. I'm not going to sit back and say the Seattle Seahawks are a good team at this stage of the year. They're just playing consistent football. They haven't had to deal with a ton of really, really bad injuries to anyone on their unit. They're just playing consistent football, man. And when you do that, it's a tough, tough thing to lose. But yeah, I'm picking the Seattle Seahawks to win and to cover that 2.5 point spread. For our Monday night football game of the week, and what might be considered our toilet bowl game of the week, where we have the Arizona Cardinals going into Arlington to take on the Cowboys, where the Cowboys are -3.5 point favorites. Kyler Murray also not starting this week.
No big loss. That seems to be a better thing for the Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett has been doing a very good job. I've said it for years now that Jacoby Brissett is one of the best game managing quarterbacks in the league. Like having him on your team running your offense when you don't have a solid number one, you can still win some games.
Hell yeah.
Arizona just hasn't been able to put it together this year. It's going to be a trash game. We get the Cowboys in prime time, which means we get to see half the field blinded for half the game because it's going to be right around sunset when they kick off. And so it's going to be shining in that end zone window and just terrible. I hate that stadium so much. The fans hate the stadium. It's bad design. Very bad design. But the Cowboys, for all their faults on defense, the offense has been rolling this year.
Yes, it has.
And I see no reason why at home against a mediocre Arizona team, they won't be able to put up 25, 35 points. And the Cowboys will be able to win this game and likely cover that spread. I don't think it'll be an exciting game by any stretch. That's really it, man. It's nah.
Yeah, I just look at this game and I go, the Cardinals are just one of those teams. They're not necessarily a bad team. I mean, they are a bad team, but they're also not bad enough to the point where we're like, oh, this is like a doom type year of where, you're like the Raiders or you're like the Jets or the Saints or any number of these handful of teams. Like if we were to do our top 5 ranking or our bottom 5 ranking, the Cardinals would not be in there, but they're not far away from it either.
Mhm.
And the Cowboys, like we jokingly say it every single week. Imagine if the Cowboys had a edge rusher on that defense to kind of really get things going. They would be a much better defense. I don't think they would be an elite defense or even a great defense, but they would be capable. I mean, Matt Eberflus would make this defense pretty bad, regardless of who was on there. But yeah, man, I think the Cowboys offense, we have to give that Cowboys offense some credit. They are doing good work. They have shown some level of consistency, and it it's just not enough to get over the hump of this really, really bad defense. But they're facing the Cardinals, so they will walk out and win this game because the Cardinals are just simply not that good of a team. And with that being said, I'm picking the Cowboys to win and to cover that spread. For us, the Browns, Jets, Eagles, and Buccaneers are all on a bye. So those are the 14 games that have ultimately made our picks. But that is it for this week, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you back next week for game picks of week number 10 for Sterling. I'm Brendan, saying peace.